The gates of hell will open in Iran. A significant escalation was recorded overnight in the war against the Revolutionary Guards. The United States struck Iran using B-1 bombers for the first time since the fighting resumed. The 12th night of strikes is coming to an end, and the echoes of massive explosions were heard across Iran. The forces are on their way, the bombers are on alert, and Trump is preparing to expand the war. Is the United States heading towards a ground operation? Washington is sending special forces and units to the Middle East. Additional bombers have been placed on alert, and medical teams are already on full standby. The United States military is preparing for an escalation with Iran, and Donald Trump is threatening to destroy a bridge or a power station every time Iran fires at a ship. And why has the Mountain of Peacocks become a central military target for the United States of America? The Revolutionary Guards are threatening. The Strait of Hormuz is completely closed, and at the same time, the Houthis attacked Saudi oil vessels, threatening to drag Pakistan into a confrontation against the Houthis as well. So, while the entire Middle East prepares for a state of war, let us understand what's going on here. I'm Yair Pinto, and usually Mati Shoshani is here with me, but just as everything started to heat up, he had to take a short vacation. So we'll see him just in a little bit. We're here on Boots on the Ground, bringing you the full truth about what's happening in Israel, as well as the full truth about what's happening in our neighborhood, the Middle East. And today is July 23rd. So let's begin. Another powerful night in Iran. United States Central Command announced overnight on Tuesday that it had launched another wave of strikes against targets in Iran. The 12th consecutive night, just yesterday. And tonight, for the first time in the current round of escalation, the United States military used heavy B-1 strategic bombers to destroy the Iranian targets. So this is the first time that the United States has deployed B-1 bombers since the fighting with Iran resumed. The use of these bombers, which can carry dozens of bombs and cruise missiles, is evidence of significant escalation and an expansion of the American military operation. It was reported overnight that one of the targets that was struck by the United States was the Salmakhah border crossing area between Iran and Iraq. The crossing is located approximately 50 kilometers from the border between Iraq and Kuwait. An Iranian report said that crossing was struck by the American missiles that hit the rest area used by Iran's border guards. A video attached to the United States Central Command announcement showed an aerial strike against a moving vehicle in Iran without providing further details. Strikes were also documented in the area of an airport, as well as against the maritime pier and a vessel that burst into flames immediately after being hit. The American command said in the statement that we have completed another round of strikes against Iran, marking the 12th consecutive night. The forces struck the Iranian military targets, including naval capabilities, missiles, and UAV storage facilities, coastal surveillance sites, and air defensive assets. The United States also announced that it had struck dozens of Iranian military targets since the fighting resumed. So, Center Command added that this month, American forces struck dozens of Iranian military sites on land alongside the renewed naval blockade against Iran. And as of today, military forces have redirected 9 commercial vessels and disabled 1 vessel in order to prevent ships from entering or leaving Iranian ports. Official Iranian media reported American strikes in the province of Ilam and Kurdistan. And according to the reports, the Khavar and Abdanan areas in Ilam province were also attacked. And local media also reported American strikes near Sirik in Hormuzgan, and explosions were also heard in several areas in Bushehr. And according to the initial assessments, they were caused by an American airstrike against 2 locations near that city. And at the same time, Iranian air defensive systems were activated northeast of Tehran. What does all of this mean? It means that with every wave of strikes, the American military is increasing the intensity of the campaign and preparing the ground for a deeper erosion of the Revolutionary Guards. So the United States military emphasized that during the past 3 months, Iran attacked more than 30 commercial vessels that are passing through the Strait of Hormuz, the vital route for regional and global trade. Despite the Iranian aggression, Central Command made clear that the Strait of Hormuz remains open to commercial shipping. And since the beginning of May, CENTCOM forces have helped facilitate the passage of approximately 900 commercial vessels and around 450 million barrels of crude oil through the strait. And over the past week, special operations and forces have been deployed to the region from bases in the United States. According to the flight tracking data and American officials, fighter squadrons have been positioned across the Middle East, while bombers at bases in the United States and Britain have been placed on high alert for increased operations. In addition, more than 150 medical personnel have arrived in recent days at the Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany. This hospital is the main center for treating American service members that are wounded in the fighting in the Middle East. The additional forces are arriving inside the Middle East and also in Europe at a time when the United States already has tens of thousands of troops in this region. The United States Navy currently has 17 ships in the Middle East. This is including 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, 11 destroyers, and also marine expeditionary units. So Trump may order the United States military to launch its largest attacks against Iran so far. We'll see. Trump himself hinted at a possible attack when he shared an article on Truth Social with the headline stating that he had ordered the military to open the gates of hell on Iran. In recent weeks, the United States military has focused its strikes mainly on targets that undermine Iran's ability to threaten the shipping inside the Strait of Hormuz. The latest strikes included military operations, centers, naval capabilities, aircraft hangars, drone storage facilities, and military logistical infrastructure. The United States also struck bridges that it said were used by the Iranian military to resupply a naval base in the Strait area. United States President Donald Trump earlier issued a severe warning against Iran regarding the Strait of Hormuz. Trump threatened that any attack affecting the strait would be met with an immediate military response against strategic infrastructure deep inside the Iranian territory. This is including bridges and also power stations in the capital, Tehran itself. So according to him, no one wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon, and Tehran will pay a heavy price. The president added that Americans are not opposed to the war, but they're concerned about rising fuel prices as a result of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. The President of the United States is expected to attend a ceremony today at the Dover Air Force Base for the return of the coffins of the American military personnel that were killed in the Iranian attacks, according to the White House. In response to the American escalation, the Revolutionary Guards issued a direct threat against the United States overnight, announcing that the Strait of Hormuz was under their complete control and was completely closed for as long as the American activity in the region continued. In their statement, the Revolutionary Guards made clear that no movement, entry, or exit of oil tankers through the strait would be permitted without prior coordination with the Iranian authorities. The commander of the Revolutionary Guards Air Force, Mousavi, warned Iran will cut off the electricity of the United States regional allies if roads and also power plants in Iran are attacked. The Revolutionary Guards announced that no tanker would pass through the Strait of Hormuz without coordination with Iran. And according to the organization, an oil tanker that attempted to pass through the southern route of the Strait of Hormuz, where they claim that mines have been planted, caught fire following this explosion. So the statement claimed that 2 other tankers that are sailing in the area turned back. And following the Houthi announcement, the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Organization and the Operations Agency reported that a tanker had been attacked near the coast of Saudi Arabia, and that there were no casualties in the incident. So later, Saudi state media also confirmed this report, and Iran is seeking to use the Houthis to open a new front in the Red Sea, in addition to the front in the Gulf, and to place pressure on another vital international shipping route that is used to transport oil. The attacks carried out this week by the Iranian-backed Houthis in Yemen, the terrorist organization that is backed by Iran, against Saudi Arabia, have caused frustration in Pakistan and threatened to drag Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan, into this confrontation as well. So Pakistan made clear to Tehran that any attack against the kingdom would also be considered an attack against Pakistan, which could intervene under the defense agreement between the 2 countries. So, as you can see, there's a great deal ahead of us. So let's dive into the details. I'm Yair Pinto. Mati Shoshani is not with me currently, and we wish him a happy vacation. But we're here on Boots on the Ground, and we bring you the full truth about what's happening in Israel and about the war against the Revolutionary Guards in Iran, which is the head of the crumbling axis of evil in the Middle East. And just before we begin, I want to call on you to continue spreading the truth. Share our content with as many people as possible. Click on the subscribe button. And most importantly, do not forget to look for me, Yair Pinto, and for Mati Shoshani on our social media accounts so you can see life in Israel through our eyes in this war. So, life here in Israel keeps us moving all the time. One day, we are hiking the desert trails. The next day, we're filming in remote locations, maybe in the north or in the south or in Gaza, in Lebanon. We are training. We're exploring ancient biblical sites. It's the kind of lifestyle that demands mobility and also recovery. And that's why I've started using Ancient Nutrition Multi-Collagen Protein. It helps support the healthy joints, skin, and overall recovery. It's important when you're constantly active and then also putting your body to work. Ancient Nutrition, it combines multiple collagen sources into one easy-to-use formula, and it fits perfectly into my daily routine. So whether you're training, traveling, working long hours, or simply trying to support your health, your mobility, and your active lifestyle, Ancient Nutrition Multi-Collagen Protein is a simple way to support your body and keep moving forward. So to try it for yourself, you can visit www.ancientnutrition.com and use the promo code Israel26 to save 26% on your order and support your health and support our mission here at TBN Israel. So it's a win-win. Let's get back to the news, because the important detail is not simply that a B-1B entered the campaign. It's that aircraft allows the United States Central Command to do a lot more next. The B-1B is a supersonic, long-range, heavy bomber carrying the largest conventional payload in the United States Air Force. Its 3 internal weapons bays can hold up to 75,000 pounds of ordnance. Depending on the mission, that can include 24 2,000-pound bombs, 24 long-range cruise missiles, or many lighter weapons. So one bomber, therefore, threatens a coastal surveillance site, air defensive systems, missile warehouses, drone facilities, command centers, and also naval infrastructure across a wide area. It can also release a standoff weapons before entering the most dangerous Iranian airspaces. But the B-1B does not carry America's heaviest bunker-busting, penetrating bombs. That role belongs to the B-2, and its arrival points first towards greater volume, towards reach and sustained pressure. It does not prove that an attack on Pickaxe Mountain has already begun. The strike map is also expanding. The attack near the Salamah crossing reached Iran's southwestern border with Iraq, close to the routes that are leading towards Kuwait. Iranian authorities say that 2 people were killed in an area used by the border personnel. CENTCOM also released footage of a moving vehicle that is being struck from the air. Other clips shows attacks near an airfield, a pier, and also a vessel that caught fire. The command did not identify the vehicle's components or specify which aircraft delivered each weapon. The buildup surrounding those strikes is just as important. Special operations forces have moved into this region. Fighter squadrons, refueling aircrafts, and long-range bombers are being repositioned. More than 150 additional medical personnel have arrived at the Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany, the main treatment hub for the American troops. This is seriously wounded. Everybody who got wounded seriously in the Middle East is transported there. So the special operations deployment also does not automatically mean an invasion. These units can recover downed air crews, conduct reconnaissance missions, protect sensitive bases, identify targets, support maritime boarding, and retrieve classified equipment before the Iranian forces reach it. The United States Navy already has 17 ships in the region. That force can launch cruise missiles, defend bases, and shipping rescue crews, and then enforce the blockade on the Iranian ports. So, Washington is conducting 2 different maritime missions. American forces are stopping vessels that are entering or leaving the Iranian ports, while supporting commercial traffic that is heading towards other destinations. Mine vessels that have been reportedly diverted and one disabled under the blockade. So Iran is trying to erase this distinction. The Revolutionary Guards claim that no tanker may enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz without Iranian coordination. They say that one tanker caught fire after entering a mine route south of the Strait of Hormuz, while 2 others turned back. And Iran has not identified those vessels or provided a clear timeline so far. So CENTCOM rejects the claim that Iran controls the waterway. It says that the strait remains open and American forces have supported more than 900 commercial transits since early May, carrying approximately 450 million barrels of crude oil. A passage can remain legally open and still become commercially dangerous. Ship owners calculate mine threats, missile warnings, insurance costs, crew safety, and the possibility of misidentification. Iran does not need to stop every tanker and needs enough captains and companies to reconsider the route. President Trump is now proposing a direct price for every Iranian attack. He says that whenever Iran fires on a ship, the United States will destroy an Iranian bridge or a power plant. Bridges can support military resupply. Electricity support ports, radar networks, command centers, and also weapons, facilities, but also serves the civilians themselves. And this creates a pre-announced escalation ladder. A missile or a drone or a mine or a proxy attack at sea could trigger a strike deep inside Iran. Tehran has answered with its own formula, warning that attacks on the Iranian infrastructure would bring strikes against the energy and the power systems belonging to America's regional partners. So what you see here on YouTube is only part of the story.